Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Bo's Slow English. Today, I'm so excited. I'm interviewing my good friend, Danica. Danica and I used to work together, and we do not work together anymore, but she is still my good friend. And she and her family immigrated here from the Philippines. And I actually don't know if English is her first language because I know she learned English in the Philippines, but I'm about to find out more, and so will you. So before we get into the video, please click like and subscribe, and let's do this. Hello, Danica.
Hi, thank you for having me on Slow English.
So you told me last week that some of your cousins are already subscribed to my channel?
Yes, so I found out when I was stalking your page that one of my cousins, not from the island I grew up in, from another island actually in Manila, follows Slow English, which I thought was really cool because we haven't spoken in a very long time, probably 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what island are you from?
So I'm from the third island in the Philippines called Mindanao and a city called Cagayan de Oro. So very province, very simple lifestyle, very different from here in Los Angeles.
I was going to say, you seem to be living the Los Angeles life now.
Yes, I'm at every single coffee shop throughout the week. I'm so LA for.
And when did you move to America?
I moved to America when I was 8 years old, which was in 2009, and I reconnected with my dad.
Oh, so he was already here in the States?
Yes, my dad was already here in the States. We for 8 years. We were separated since he came to the United States for college and pursued his work here.
Oh, wow. I had no idea. So you were living in the Philippines still with your mom and your brother?
My brother was born here, so he did not exist yet.
Oh,
So
yeah.
me and my mom, we grew up, or she raised me in the Philippines.
Okay. Wow. Wait, you came to California in 2009?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Same.
Oh, did you from New York? Oh wait, no, from not New York,
Baltimore.
Baltimore.
Yes, I came here in 2009 as well. It feels like so long ago. When you moved to California, how fluent were you in English?
I think I was about 30% with a 90% accent.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay. Let me think about this again. So you were only 30% fluent and you had a really strong accent.
Very strong accent. And
Okay.
at the time, I thought I knew so much English until I started having conversation with people in restaurants and just people from our everyday life back then.
Mhm. I love that you are still in touch with your culture and that you speak your native language. My brother, who moved to America when he was 9 and I was 1, his Korean is way, way better than mine. And although Korean was my first language, I quickly jumped into English, and I regret refusing to go to Korean school. My mom tried to get me to go, but I refused. So when you're at home, what language do you speak?
When I'm home now, we mostly speak half English and half Cebuano. Cebuano is my native language that we speak in my province in the Philippines. We have started to speak a little more English because of my brother, who understands Cebuano but cannot speak it. So he will
Oh.
respond to us in English.
Okay, so that's like my situation where I respond back in English. Please force him to speak Cebuano.
Mm-hmm.
He will regret it.
Getting there.
Year after year, your English improved what percentage?
Let's say I came to America for second grade, and I think it was until I want to say fifth grade going into middle school where I found that my English has improved drastically. And then by that time in sixth grade, um, my accent was completely unrecognizable. Like I feel like I have a pretty good American accent now.
Oh,
So
yeah.
when I tell people I'm Filipino, I mean, almost every time they assume that I was born and raised here.
Mm. Was it your goal to get rid of your accent?
I think looking back at it, for sure, now that was my goal. I always knew I wanted to maintain the languages that I've learned in the Philippines. I did not want to forget where I came from, but for sure, I was working hard to learn how to articulate better and um, learn the American accent so that I felt like so that people could understand me better.
When we were working together professionally, I thought you sounded really eloquent.
Thank you.
Eloquent, for those of you who are new to this word, means sophisticated and at a high level. So, yeah, I might not have known that you weren't born here. I have a lot of subscribers who want to get rid of their accent. And I think that they think, and all of you guys should comment below to correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys think that if I have no accent, then I will become more fluent. And that is not the same thing because you can be completely fluent with an accent. In fact, in my opinion, coming from someone who is a language learner myself, if I try to get rid of my American accent while I'm trying to learn French or Korean, it's more work. It's more than double the work. So, what do you think about that?
I think it's I think it's okay to have an accent. I think I agree. Um, Maybe immigrants or foreigners who come to the US and learn English may shy away from having an accent and take that as an insecurity because how I felt when I was younger, feared that people would not listen to me or won't take me seriously or won't give me the same level of respect as those who were either born here or have no accent.
It's so common to meet a foreigner, especially in Los Angeles, but even where I came from on the East Coast, it's not as big as Los Angeles or New York, but there every time I go back, it's appearing to be more and more diverse. So in the United States, it's normal to encounter foreigners. So I know I've mentioned this several times, but don't put pressure on yourself to get rid of your accent if you think that is how you'll become fluent. They are not the same thing. Okay, I have a question about your dialect. Cebuano, is that right?
Yeah.
What is the main difference in how it sounds compared to Tagalog?
I've received a lot of feedback from majority of Filipinos, since the main language is Tagalog, that whenever they hear Cebuano speak, it sounds like total gibberish to them,
Oh.
which is funny because when us Cebuanos listen or hear Tagalog, we can totally understand it, no problem. And I just think I think it's funny how that works. We, live in the same country, yet different islands have different dialects, and I'm sure other smaller islands around us would probably think the same way if we were to speak Cebuano.
So, how many different dialects are there in the Philippines?
I actually saw a video on TikTok saying there was over 100 other dialects in the Philippines, which is crazy because I can only name four other. So I don't
Wow.
know what the other 100 is, but that's insane. For such a little island, for other groups to have a totally different language is so mind blowing.
Can you give me an example sentence so that I can hear the difference between Tagalog and Cebuano?
Okay, I'm gonna say hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to Bo Slow. Okay, this is Tagalog. Maayong gabi po. Salamat po sa pagnonood ng Bo Slow English dito sa YouTube or TikTok. Okay. So that was Tagalog. And now this is Cebuano. Maayong gabi. Salamat kayo sa pagtanaw sa Bo Slow English dito sa TikTok or sa YouTube.
It is
I
different.
cut that a little bit.
It is different. Can you say English in Tagalog and English in Cebuano? Because I think you pronounced the word English differently.
I think it's just I think the voice just sounds different, but I think we just say English.
Oh, okay, so that's the same. Fascinating. It's
Mhm.
really cool. I mean, I think they sound different. I obviously don't know what the difference is, but they both sound really pretty.
Thank you. My boyfriend has noted that when I speak the different languages, my voice changes during each language, which I feel like that does happen, which is also another thing that I find funny. And I think I'm starting to notice that with other people who speak multiple languages as well.
Something that I noticed when you post on your Filipino TikTok, when you speak, I think you're speaking Cebuano. When you're speaking
Mhm.
Cebuano, you sound like a Westerner, like a
I think
westernized person.
I feel like that has happened now. I feel like the way I speak Cebuano now is totally different from how I used to speak it when I was younger.
Hmm. What language do you think in?
Now I think in English, but when I'm thinking negatively, I think in Cebuano.
Why is that?
I think when I'm speaking to myself, I'm speaking to myself in like I'm being hard on myself, like I'm being hard on a kid. And I think that's where that comes from. Like I'm speaking to my childhood self. Probably hence why I am hard on myself in Cebuano, if that makes sense. And then when something good happens or something exciting happens or like my day-to-day life, I think I tend to speak in my head in English and narrate what I'm doing in English.
That is really profound. For you to discover that about yourself, that when you're in a bad mood, you think in Cebuano because you're speaking to your younger self, you're very mature for thinking that.
someone else comment if you speak different languages, if you guys do the same thing. Like, is that just? I've never heard anyone else, I don't know, say that. But maybe I think that probably does happen to other people.
Well, now that I'm doing these interviews, I'm going to have to ask that question.
That's a good question. Thank you for asking that.
Because I don't think I ever thought in Korean. I graduated from ESL in first grade. In fact, I was one of the first people in my class to graduate from ESL. But I feel like from that point on, and that was like the age of 5 or something, very young, Korean just really trickled out of my brain super quickly. So when I think in my head to my younger self, yeah, it's definitely English. But that's very insightful that you came up with that.